You find this suffocating? Do you find this suffocating? Yes, I find it extremely suffocating. And now 30 days in this period of lockdown at home, in spite of having internet, connectivity, food and everything at our disposal, are we happy? So imagine 30 years in prison, away from your home, away from your family, on an island, Robben Island, and you are even not allowed to go or visit the funeral of your own mother. I think you guessed it right. Yes, I'm talking about Roli Shasha Mandela, or as we all know him, Nelson Mandela. Today we are going to do A Long Walk to Freedom. Your lesson number 2 from your book, First Flight, an autobiography by Nelson Mandela. Mandela was born in a Xhosa tribe. He was born as the chief's son. And because he was the chief's son, he was privileged to get education. Not all children of the tribes were privileged or lucky enough to get education. Now, what prevailed during those times and before Mandela was born, we will have to know. The white settlers, the British, the German, the French, the Dutch, they came to South Africa and settled down there. Why did the British or the French or the Portuguese come to Goa or come to India? Because of trade. Similarly, plus South Africa was the trade route to India. So Britain wanted control over South Africa. Once they settled down there, they realized that South Africa was rich in minerals, gold, diamonds. So the British wanted control over South Africa. And so the white-skinned people, the Anglo, that is the British, and the Boer, that is the Dutch, the French and the Germans, the Afrikaans, they started having disputes among themselves. This was the Anglo-Boer War. And the result of the Anglo-Boer War was that the white, they patched up their differences, they settled their disputes and erected the system of apartheid. Now, what is apartheid? The apartheid system is one of the most harsh and most inhumane systems that the world has ever seen. It segregated people on the basis of their color or race. It did not give them equality, justice, or even dignity to live as human beings. The white people called it good neighborliness, but it wasn't that. Mandela spent 30 years of his life in prison for an idea that he strongly believed in. And finally, in 1994, when elections were held, Mandela was elected the first black president of South Africa with a majority of votes. The entire world was against the apartheid system, and so South Africa was boycotted from all the Olympic Games, the cricket tournaments, the league fights, everything, because South Africa was one country which followed the apartheid system, and the entire world was against this harsh, oppressive rule. So the South Africans had to relent. And it's not that. There were so many whites in the world, in South Africa itself, who were against the apartheid system. So in this extract from his book, Long Walk to Freedom, Mandela talks about the inauguration. The inauguration is his oath-taking ceremony, 10th May 1994. He also talks about the freedom struggle and his comrades. He also talks about humanity and dignity of humans. So we will all do this bit by bit in this chapter, A Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. The ceremony took place at the lovely sandstone amphitheatre formed by the Union Buildings in Pretoria. And for many years, for decades, he says, this place had been the seat of white supremacy. It was a place where the white ruled. And today, it was a site of a rainbow gathering in different colors and nations for installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. And today, there were people who had come from different nations to celebrate South Africa's victory against apartheid. And he says, on that lovely autumn day, autumn is the season when the leaves fall. And so, probably, Nelson Mandela talks about the fall of the racial system of apartheid. In this part of the lesson, he takes a pledge. He takes a pledge to obey and uphold the Constitution and to devote himself to the well-being of the Republic and its people. He thanks all the dignitaries who have come to witness this installation. And he says it is a common victory for justice, for peace, and for human dignity. He also promises that never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. So he says that this beautiful land will never again experience oppression or a harsh rule. And he takes a pledge to liberate his people from poverty, from deprivation, suffering, gender, and any kind of discrimination. Mandela then talks about the spectacular array of South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers which were roaring in perfect formation over the Union Buildings. He also talks about South African Defence Force and police who salute him and pledge their loyalty to him. But he knows that just a few years ago, they would not have saluted him but arrested him. He says the day was symbolized for me by playing of two national anthems. Both national anthems were honored. The Diastem of the white people and Nkosi Sikelel' iAfrika of the blacks. Although that day neither group knew the lyrics of the anthem they once despised, they would soon know the words by heart. He says that both the anthems were sung. The whites did not know the black anthem Nkosi Sikelel' iAfrika, and the blacks did not know Diastem, because you never learn the lyrics of something you despise or hate. You immediately learn the lyrics of something that you love. Mandela says, the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, an unplanned effect, and that was, it created men of extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity. And men like this will never be known again. So the depths of oppression, he says, creates heights of character. Unless you are pushed to your limits, you don't know what you are capable of. And he says that from these people I have learned what it means, the meaning of courage, he says. I have learned from my comrades the meaning of courage. I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. Now, what is to give your life for an idea? An idea is something that you believe in. For example, in India, Jyotiba Phule, Savitribai Phule believed in the right for women to get educated. And so, Savitribai Phule herself took up the task. The idea was to educate women. And she went through a lot of torture and pain. People used to hurl stones at her, pelt stones at her, throw cow dung at her, but she did not give up. They did not give up. And today we are here because of their struggle and their fight for one idea. So these are some examples. He says that he has seen men showing a strength of resilience that defies imagination. You cannot imagine how much resilience, how much ability they have to tackle such torture, to withstand such torture. And he says, he learned, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. We all feel afraid, don't we? We all get scared of things in life. Some have the fear of speaking in public. Some have fear of water or darkness. But to overcome that fear is what he says is bravery or courage. Everyone has fear, but we need to overcome that fear. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. Is a baby that is born, a young born baby, does he know his religion? Does he know what it is to hate? No. We teach him to hate. And according to Mandela, if you can teach a person to hate, you can easily teach the child to love, because love comes more naturally to the human heart than to hate. So at the end of this one part, he says, man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. So every man has goodness within him. Every man is good. Okay? You can hide it for some time, but you can never extinguish it. So all men are good. All we have to do is tap the goodness in them. So he says, even in the grimmest times in prison, when my comrades and I were pushed to our limits, I would see a glimmer of humanity in one of the guards. So when he saw one of the guards feeling some humanity towards them, some compassion towards them, he felt that that is not the end of humanity. There is hope. That gave him assurance to move on, to go on with the struggle. And the best example to learn about push to your limits, or what it is to be pushed to the edge and then only you realize your strength, is a short film called The Butterfly Circus. If students, you get an opportunity, it is available on YouTube. I would like you to watch The Butterfly Circus. It is a 11-minute short film. Please do watch it. And with that, I stop over here with the first half of A Long Walk to Freedom. I will deal with the second half in my next tutorial.